My name is Brittany Blackwell. I am part of the Resilient Teacher podcast. I have hosted that podcast for 2 years, and I really focus on teacher burnout and sustainability. I feel like there's a big problem with teachers leaving the profession in droves. And so my biggest thing that I want to promote is that wellness, that peace of mind, the beating of burnout, because it's such a big problem.
It is a huge problem right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to give you just a shout out, just a round of applause for everything that you are doing, and just the good that you're spreading and everything that you do.
Thanks.
And on that note, let's unpack ISTE. Okay, this is your first ISTE, right?
Yeah, it's my very first ISTE. Never been before.
Okay, where are you from?
I'm from South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. All right. If you had to pick one word for ISTE 2024, think about it. Pick one word. What would your word be to describe your overall experience? Not for everyone else. I'm talking for Brittany Blackwell. What has been your 2024 ISTE wrap up in one word?
In one word.
Or one statement.
Yeah. I think right now with ISTE's whole theme this year, adventure. It was an adventure for me.
Okay.
It was a brand new thing.
Okay. For you, it was a complete brand new thing.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been to ISTE. I've never been to Denver. I've never been to Colorado in general. And really this whole podcasting in person thing, because I came here and podcasted. I'd never podcasted in person. It was a new adventure, meeting new people, all of that. It's been an adventure.
And how did that go for you? The live podcasting in person, I should say. It
was very different. And I think the first day of it, I was really nervous because I'm used to doing it online, but being here and in person, it's a whole new vibe. Like you get to see somebody. I can reach out and touch you right now.
You literally just did.
I did. But it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Okay. It's interesting because you do the virtual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped the virtual stuff because of what you just said.
Yeah.
The energy, the vibe, it's a lot different in person. So I have stopped. I don't have a subscription to StreamYard or Riverside FM or any of those because I do the in-person. And at least where I live, there's so many great educators and people that in my own hometown
mm-hmm.
where I can talk to them in person and then do this. If I want to connect with people that are not in my particular region,
mm-hmm.
I wait for the conferences and I go to as many as I possibly can to do this.
Yeah.
This is my passion. This is my absolute passion.
Yeah. I could totally do it like that. This being my first experience doing the podcasting in person, I can see it. I'm like, okay, I could totally do this a lot more frequently.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did you hit any sessions while here?
I did. My friend Carrillo, she did one on how to make learning stick with AI. And it was fantastic because she really talked about not just let's use AI because we can use AI.
Yeah, for the sake of.
Right. But how to actually get in there with the students and make learning stick. Yeah. And it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And she brought in some neuroscience. So my neuroscience, brainiac part of me was like, yes, this is great.
Okay. What about social events?
So I did go to some social events. I went to learning.com's happy hour where they had a masseuse. I needed that. I legit needed a massage really bad. Walking around ISTE over and over and over throughout this week, I hit my 10,000 steps by 10 o'clock every day.
Oh, big time, yeah.
And then I also went to the Brisks mingle over at the Fortissimo dueling pianos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, and it was great because I worked with Brisk for a while, and it was just really good to see them in person for the first time too.
Okay, and you brought your husband.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
He is not techie whatsoever, and he's not a teacher, but I think he's enjoyed just seeing me having fun.
Yeah, supporting your vision,
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing.
Yeah, he's very supportive.
All right. I did I didn't go to any sessions because I was so jam-packed. I did 15. This is episode 16 for me, by the way, here at ISTE. I recorded 16 episodes, but counting this one, presented 5 different sessions on 3 different days, and did the walking food tour sponsored by Cami. Big shout out to Cami for helping make that happen, seeing the vision, and we went big this year. It was like 45 people in total, including myself and the Cami team and my boys who were the videographers. And it was just, I mean, my big thing is bringing people together to break bread together. And I like bringing people together who may be here alone. There were a handful of people who were on that list of 40 who made it and were like, I'm here alone. I don't want to eat Jack in the Box, and that's my whole goal is let's eat local. Let's sit you down with some people who you probably look up to, learn from, and let's have you guys exchange information while breaking bread together. And we went to 4 different spots. We did Cherry Cricket Ballpark. Big shout out to Cesar Garcia and the crew over there for taking care of us. We did Lazo's Empanadas, which big shout out to Francois and his team over there. That's where we're going tonight for dinner. My boys and I were going to wrap up Denver over there. We did, if you have time, go to Biker Jim's gourmet hot dogs. Ridiculously good.
Okay.
Ridiculously good. They have a vegan dog that I had that blew my socks off.
A vegan dog?
Vegan dog.
Okay.
Most flavorful hot dog I've probably ever had.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we wrapped up the night at the only Michelin recommended restaurant in I was going to say Dallas. We're not in Dallas. In Denver, Marco's Coal-Fired Pizza. So same thing, 19 to 21,000 steps on a daily basis. So lots of walking. So if you've never been to a conference like ISTE, you're going to do a lot of walking. Pack comfortably, pack layers. I'm pretty sure the rooms that you went into were pretty cold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hot outside.
It was hot.
Yeah.
It was hot. It was no joke. Yeah. It was a dry heat, and which is good.
Yeah.
You know, that San Antonio
I appreciate
heat.
it.
Yeah. My hair can get crazy in that San Antonio humidity. So it was nice to get some dry weather. Okay. All right. So you did hit some sessions. You did a lot of your stuff here. What about the expo hall?
Yeah.
What was your expo hall experience?
Okay. So I really loved the expo hall. I really like to see what other like companies are doing. Like, what are they bringing to the table? What are they able to show? And so it's really neat to see like some of the ones that I've heard about, I've not actually seen like demoed.
Okay.
And so I like that. Also, I love a good pen.
A good squishy ball.
Yeah.
Stress ball.
My husband and I got I actually took a picture. I'll show it to you later, but it's like a crap ton of pens just because we really like clicky pens. And so
the clicky pens. All
never going to run out of pens ever again.
All right. That sounds good. I will say my one gripe about ISTE 2024 this year here in Denver was the expo hall was upstairs.
Yeah.
I spent maybe a total of, well, besides the fact that I did 2 sessions in the expo hall for Soundtrap and WeVideo, but other than that, I spent maybe half an hour in the expo hall because I had to be intentional. You have to be intentional to go to the expo hall. It's not like at other venues. And this is your first one, but at most other venues, you know, San Antonio, Florida for FETC and other conferences, it's all on that street level. So you could be walking by and say, you know what, let's go to the expo hall real quick. Here, you had to intentionally go up. If you were upstairs, it's because you were registering or you intentionally went to the expo hall. So, and I did talk to some of the vendors, and they said, too, the traffic is a little bit lower than other conferences. Did you see yourself, being that this is your first time, did you see yourself forgetting that there was an expo hall?
To be honest with you, no. Okay. I didn't, because that's where my husband, like when I would go and do like podcast episodes, or I would go, you know, do some interviews elsewhere in the convention center, that's where he was. He was just walking around and learning about things that he had no idea what they were. But yeah, like I guess that's why I didn't, but I think other people did. And I heard other people say like, where are all the vendors?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I I obviously didn't stop and say, hey, it's right up there. But I heard that, like, where are the vendors?
Yeah, where's everybody at?
Yeah.
All right. So there were some great keynotes as well that I heard about. I was podcasting all morning long, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I didn't get a chance to see them, but I did see and hear the foot traffic during my episodes, and which was pretty cool. Now, we talked about the expo hall. There was another important thing that I was going to bring up to you and ask you about, especially because you're first time. Oh, is there a specific vendor in that expo hall that blew your mind? Like, oh, okay, I like this.
I really liked the cue ball speaker. Have you seen that?
No, I don't think I did.
It was so cool. And the reason that I think it's so cool is because, like, I taught special education, and I want to get my kids, like, engaged. And it's not always behind a screen, but you can pass the speaker around, and it's a ball. Like, you can throw it and, like, kick it, do all kinds of things with it, and get kids, like, talking, because then it has a microphone on it too. It was just really, really cool. I really liked that one. Other than that, I mean, it was kind of a blur, if I'm honest. Like, I think if you if you go to the expo hall at any of these, I think you're going to have to, like, reflect right afterwards, like, which ones did I like? Because there's so many in there. It was kind of overwhelming.
Okay. Did you get the booklet with all the tickets to drop off for the giveaways and stuff?
Yeah.
I know that you were doing one.
Yeah.
Which has come and gone already, but did you drop your ticket into any of those?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
For anyone who's going to be going to any one of these EdTech conferences anytime soon, what I suggest you do is you grab some Avery labels, do a mail merge with your information, print out literally like 100 labels. And instead of filling out each sticker, you make it a family event.
Oh my gosh, that's
Call your
genius.
husband and say, all right, let's do this. Stick them all on and just drop them in.
That is so genius. Okay, that's going.
You're welcome.
Yes. We needed that round of applause.
For myself.
Yes.
I usually do it for the guests. But yeah, so that's a tip of advice. Now, or not a tip of advice, a piece of advice, a tip. Oh my gosh, it's been a long 3 days.
It's 3 days.
Yeah, and they all kind of blur into one. And now that we are officially done with ISTE, hindsight 2020, if you could go back to the day before you flew out here, what would you do differently? What would you pack, not pack? What would you be a little bit more mindful of, put on the agenda to do, or maybe scratch off the agenda like I didn't really need to do that?
That's a really good question. The one thing that I would do differently is typically I don't really walk a whole lot, other than on my walking pad when I'm working. So I would in the future, like, get myself up and walking a lot more so that I'm used to it. Because after that first day, my legs were jello. And I actually had to buy KT tape for my toe.
Really?
Yeah, because I think it's a stress fracture, honestly.
Not good.
No, it's not. But my husband, like, put some KT tape on my toe because right under it, it's, like, super painful.
Oh.
And so that might be the thing. Or I would pack really comfortable shoes and maybe even purchase some comfortable shoes because I don't think I own any.
Okay, yeah. And the beauty of the world we live in now is you can, after day one or even halfway into day one, you could just crack open that Amazon app and have them delivered to your hotel, to a locker nearby or what have you. So that's another piece of advice too, is don't be afraid to order on Amazon. They'll deliver it to the hotel. One of the things I did was, Matt Joseph, big shout out to Matt Joseph and the X Factor EDU publishing team, is, when we do conferences like this, I'll order X amount of author copies to give out at sessions or whatever. Deliver them, have them delivered to the hotel. If you call the hotel in advance, they'll hold Amazon packages for you for up to 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people don't know that.
I brought some swag with me from Class Companion, and I had it delivered to the hotel instead of carrying it with me.
Or checking it in.
Right.
Luggage.
And it was just so much easier to do it that way because then I got rid of it and now it's gone and I don't have to take it home.
Exactly.
It's real nice.
Yeah. First time in Denver?
It is.
Most memorable meal?
My most memorable meal. We ate at the aquarium, and it was memorable because it was
Did you eat fish?
I did.
You ate
but I wasn't,
fish at the aquarium.
I wasn't impressed by the food itself,
Okay.
but the experience was pretty cool because I've never like eaten around. I didn't eat fish in front of fish before.
I know that's kind of. I'm not going to lie.
Ironic.
That's a little rude. That's I can imagine the fish walking, or swimming by. And just, that's my cousin over there that you're deep fried that you just have. Okay, all right. So you had an experience of eating fish at the aquarium.
Yeah.
Just saying it. Just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about the experience. Like, were you eating in front of was it a glass?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, and it was just neat because it's got the glass, it's got the fish. There's all kinds of different fish. Like I was surprised there wasn't like a shark or something because I was kind of hoping we'd see like a shark or a turtle or one of those. But there were a lot of like Nemos. You know what I mean?
Clownfish.
Yeah. Nemos.
Yeah.
Nemos.
Clownfish. Okay. All right. I used to have a saltwater tank and we had clownfish in there as well.
Yeah.
The nephews and nieces would come, oh yeah, Nemo.
It's a clownfish.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
I can't really say that the food
but it was
memorable, but the experience was cool.
Much like my book, Cooking Up Experiences in the Classroom. It's not about the tool. It's about the experience. Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's a whole different segue. All right. Now, talked about most memorable meal. I know that I've given some tips to, some first timers, including yourself, and thinking about it in hindsight. But what tips would you give anybody who's maybe watching or listening as to maybe they're going to go to a local conference or maybe, GAETC, the Georgia Educational Technology Conference is just around the corner in November. And then we're going to start gearing up towards FETC, TCA, and some of the other ones like CUE in California and things like that. What is some advice that you would give now that you've come to the cream of the crop, the big one? Now that you've come here, what advice would you give somebody who's about to attend their first big EdTech conference?
I think the biggest thing is to know why you're coming to a conference like this. Like there's so many different presentations to see. And so like knowing the purpose that you're going for. Are you going to learn? What are you going to learn? Like what is the big things that you want to know about? Like if it's student engagement, then look for those presentations and then kind of map out your schedule from there. That's something that I also wish that I had done a little bit better. Hindsight, I didn't really have the time that I wanted to go to the presentations like I wanted to, but if I had planned it out a little bit better, like scheduled out my day a little bit better, I totally could have made it to some of those really good ones.
Okay, that piece of advice right there is just
muy caliente.
That's a good one. That's a very, very good one because a lot of times people go and like, oh man, it's like when you walk into Costco. Like for me, Costco, if my wife and my kids and I do not have a bulleted list, we are $400 deep before we realize we came for eggs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a very, very good piece of advice there. Now, did you pre-plan any of those social events in the evening that you wanted to go to? Did they kind of just come at you, or because of the fact that you're here with your husband, where you're like, no, I'm just going to kind of chill with him in the evenings?
Well, the initial plan was to do the chilling with him in the evenings, just because my days were so packed with stuff. I figured I'd be too tired to do anything. But I did know that, with the brisk one, I knew that was coming up. So I was like, if I feel okay, if I'm feeling like I have enough energy to kind of give a little bit more away, I'll stop by for a few. And it was right there, like right next to the convention center. So it was like, why not,
Yeah.
Then the other one that I went to, they said massage, and I was just
drop everything.
I don't care what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah,
but
doesn't matter what we're doing.
We're going there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. My piece of advice to anyone out there who might be planning for the next trip, or just got accepted or their district's going to send you and maybe a couple of people is don't try to do it all. Yeah. Leave yourself a good 2 to 2.5 hours every day of open time, because things are going to come up. You're going to get tired. You're going to have to eat. You're going to have to eat, and you don't want to be rushed. And especially in a new city, what you don't want to do, this is in no way a shot to the Colorado Convention Center, but try not to eat the food in the convention center. Try to make it out and get some sunlight. Go out, take a quick walk, and eat something local. Yeah. And if you're at the conference with a group of people, team members, maybe people on your content team or what have you, or your grade level, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. I'm going to hit these sessions. You map it out strategically. That way you have a collaborative document of notes, or maybe you have a Notion work space that you guys are going to collaborate on. I got a couple Notion videos and that coming out soon, so make sure you check those out if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Or Google Keep, Apple Notes, do something, but divide and conquer.
I love Notion, by the way.
Do you really?
Yes.
Okay, I do everything in Notion. All my show notes for the episode and everything, all Notion.
It's the best.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by them.
Yet.
But if you're watching or listening, check out the information in the show notes. That way you could reach out to us. Speaking of which, how can people... let's do that. How can people connect with you, your show, and everything that you do?
Yeah, so I am, my website is teachingmindbodyandsoul.com. My podcast, you can find it on any major podcasting streaming platforms, but you can also find it at theresilientteacherpodcast.com or teachingmindbodyandsoul.com/podcast. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram. On TikTok, I never changed my name, so it doesn't coincide with any of my brand, but it's Miss Princess Teach.
Okay.
It popped off, and I just can never change my name on there. And then on Instagram, it's Teaching Mind, Body, and Soul.
Okay. I thought when you said I never changed my name, I thought it was user 09887-5. Okay. At least it's something personable. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. And for those of you watching, listening, on your walk, on your drive to work or what have you, walking the aquarium, trying to figure out which lobster you're going to fry up, don't worry about pulling out your notes or what have you. All the information is in the show notes. You can click on there, connect with Brittany, connect with the Resilient Teacher podcast. I almost said it wrong. And that way you can just, with a couple of taps, get connected, subscribe to the show, and check out everything that Brittany's doing. I do have one last question I ask of almost every single guest. There's a couple times where I've slipped up and forgot to ask, but it's quite possibly the most important question you will be asked at any conference. Nevertheless, ISTE 2024. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I think.
Corn tortillas or flour tortillas?
Corn.
Okay. You are team corn, as am I, which is why we get along so well. So I respect a good flour tortilla, but there's nothing.
I do not.
Oh, you don't?
I don't respect it at all.
Celiac?
Yeah. No, I just don't like it.
You just don't like it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think you're the only person I know that just doesn't like it. I like them, but I just prefer the homemade corn, a nice thick. Oh, man.
So good.
I know. That sounds good. Well, Brittany, I want to thank you for everything that you are contributing to our educational space, everything that you're doing, especially for our teachers dealing with burnout and hopefully turning that burnout into Teacher Burn In. A big shout out to the Burn In Teacher Podcast as well, and everyone out there who's in that space, Mandy Freilich and everyone as well. But just helping to turn that around so that we keep the teachers in the classroom, keep them smiling and enjoying the teaching just as much as their students are enjoying the learning.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Safe
you so
travels.
Much.
And ISTE 2025.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do another
one of
follow-up
this. Yes.
episode. All right. Sounds good.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you.